Hello, everybody. We are starting the presentation of Professor Celia Ávila Rauch about the adjustment to a new environment from a psychology perspective. Celia Ávila Rauch is trained at University of Girona, Master in Psychology, Autonomous University of Barcelona, and clinical psychologist and active cognitive behavioral psychotherapists. She presents the master degree about behavioral medicine and also research proficiency in psychiatry and medical psychology in Barcelona, and also presents European certificates of psychotherapy and World Certificate in Psychotherapy, coach certificates, and certificate as a supervisor of medical psychotherapists and psychologists with cognitive behavioral orientation by Bavarian School of Therapy in Munich in Germany. And she specialized in emotional intelligence skills by the group of Yale University and other great achievements. She are actively working in Madrid and Barcelona Chamber of Psychologists in aviation psychology, space psychologists, and connected to Mars in the Netherlands, also trained of Alba Emotions. Yes, member, also many other things that was shared in our advertisement about her, and also she's a member of Space Renaissance Initiative. Celia, thanks so much about your interest to do this presentation during Space Habitat event and bring contributions for the space exploration, how psychology is important to the mental health of astronauts and also space workers. And thanks so much. You are very welcome to present your talk. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Julio, for the invitation. I feel honored, and I hope we can adjust ourselves in the the moon and also Mars. My presentation today, I wanted to show more, or that people are more aware what means adjustment. No, and for this reason, when we were talking about music, I was thinking, of course, we need music. Everyone needs music as a human, also animals and everyone. For us, it's very important. But for me, the sense of adjustment is more about the neurocognitive. As humans are the more adaptable species in this planet, and they can adjust to the different environments. But what happens outside? What happens in space? What happens with environments that for us are not in our memory, are not in our brain? And this is what psychology is working at, more in the group of the neuroscience. And what we try is to understand what happens with us when we are in a different place, how we develop in this new environment, and how we need to take care. I hope I can do the next one. Here, excuse me. Adjustment definition. I think for everyone, adjustment noise is something that we need to understand, or that something is progressive. It's not so very quickly. Then we have the habitat Mars, the personal competences, conscious and subconscious brain, human behavior, and communication and teamwork. I think for us has to be in our in the back, the conscious and subconscious brain. Humans as an individual or groups are in constant interaction with the physical and social environment. That means that for us, when we are in habitat in Mars, it's something that we don't know once. It's something that we are in a habitat. We have the experience in the pandemic, that we were at home. Some people, some countries, we couldn't go outside. But what happens with us? We were dealing with problems, with probably physical problems, with habitability factors, We were also with psychological factors, and we are also with social and interaction factors. What means, again, is the physical factors. If we are sitting the whole day, no, we were more or less with computer or working at home. Our bodies are also losing muscles, or our bodies losing agility. Then when we are, when we are in the physical factors, we need to understand also when we are going to Mars is acceleration, then also the gravity, atmosphere, the radiation, the light and dark circles. This is not our daily life. And these factors are affecting in our hormones, is also affecting our mood, is also affecting our homeostasis as an individual. Psychological factors, what happens with us is isolation, danger. We are outside, something happens, no? Noise, we don't know, the wind, or something is getting broken, and no one is helping us, and we need to understand what happens. Then also, we are with people, not many people, but we are not going with a family. We are going with people that we don't know. We are going with crew members. Everybody is trained, but everybody will react a different form, and we need to understand. We need to be tolerant, and we need to accept what happens with us. And I think, in this definition, there are basic human commonalities in adaptation to the kinds of stresses inherent in extreme environments that are characterized by isolation, confinement, and also the environmental risk. What I want to try to tell you in the adjustment is not that I'm prepared to adjust myself and say, okay, I go forward. Is something that is also a surprise, how I can react in different situations. Yeah, now we are talking about this. When I'm thinking in the movie Mars, the Martian, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the movie, and everything is exciting because you don't know what happens, and you can empathize with the person, but the person is in an environment, a safe environment for us, because it's a movie, and it's always exciting, and what happens could be nice, and at the end, everything will be okay. But if we analyze the movie in the real situation, the conditions, the person is in a different place. At the end is alone, more or less. The point is, I need to deal with many things that I prepare. I was prepared. I was trained. For this reason, I think it's so important that we are doing these habitats, that people in this simulation learn how to cope with more or less this environment, how to cope with to be alone, to solve the things alone, to work also in team. So the team is very, very important. The crew members everyone is very important, and to understand the rules. Then everybody's engaged, but everybody's engaged because we need to protect ourselves. But we are not away from conflicts because I have a different position, different mood or idea or priorities. And I think for this reason, the habitats help you a little bit to understand what is the community in an environment that is not my environment. I cannot come home. The difference between Mars and Earth is that we are not dealing with emergencies in the sense that we are alone outside and no one is coming very quickly. We are not in microgravity. Our environments in the habitats on Earth is more to realize that our brain learn what means this different style of living that we don't know. I think for me it's very important that the Martian movie, everybody is happy, is excited, what happens, what will happen, and everybody has an imagination about the situation. Everybody can free thinking, but at the end, we are not aware that maybe it's loneliness there. We are not aware that probably these situations is affecting our performance, because it's also affecting our neuropsychology, all the things that the cognitive, and we know that the cognitive will affect the performance when I'm under stress. when also the rhythms, no, the circadian rhythms, also sleep rhythms, and the darkness, light, everything is affecting. And then plus, nothing, I want to make a little negative, but the point is, yes, then the crew members. And I think when you have a very nice group and there is a safe environment, then help us to cope with all these difficulties that we'll have. Could be also an important issue in the mental health. Some people have asthenia when they are on the ISS outside, and we are also having other problems that we are not thinking so much. But then when we are outside, it could be that your body is reacting in a different way, and not everything is wonderful. But again, I'm so happy about the habitats because for many people it's the first step to understand. Yeah, no, we have, you explained before, no, how many habitats we have now on our planet, and how people remember that the difference between the habitats or go outside is more about experiments. Everybody is in the science. Everybody needs to have a knowledge in scientific and technology, engineering, also mathematics, because you need to calculate many things in case of. But I'm thinking also before, no, we were thinking about the music. Of course, no, it was music or other things that for us is important in Earth, but we need to understand that in the future, the new generations, because our brain is not accustomed to be this, maybe the new generations, they are living there, also babies are coming there in this new habitat, they will have a different point of priorities or desires. For me, it was also the thought, no, it's just, I was thinking in the movie WALL-E, not when these people is sitting the whole day and also looking the screens. And I was thinking, okay, maybe probably the habitat in Mars, I was thinking maybe our brain will be wonderful because we are working the whole time with our neurons. But what happens with our body? I was thinking maybe we will have a big brain, but the body, maybe the bones and everything will be not so as should be. But for me, it's the most important that we need to be open for this process, and the adjustment, not for everyone is a linear process. For everyone has a different steps. And then I think in the selection, when we are selecting people, it's very important that we are with high resilient people, adaptive in the sense that, okay, if there's a difficulty, I need to no more associate to resilience in the sense that I try, but I also can accept that for me it's difficult to be without music, or it's also difficult to be without my, I don't know, Wiener Schnitzel. I think that for us is the change will be very softly, but it's not about mood probe that everybody is courageous. I want to demonstrate something is a process like the whole civilization. And I think it's very important that we are with appropriate coping strategies to deal with stress and problems, enabling them to adapt to change and function well as a team. Change, when we think change, we are thinking adventure, but change could be had many ways. Personal competences is not about be perfect, no, it's not about to be the super engaged person. I think this is the most important thing, is to cope with your emotions, to learn to manage what happens with you, what happens with the environment, how to communicate, how to say what you need, and also allow your feelings go away. And then, because it's not the point that you are crazy in the sense I say what I want, is also to refer, and it's normal that it's not the adjustment process is like this until I find my way. We must develop skills of empathy, sympathy, and emotional intelligence. And why empathy? doesn't matter if cognitive or is affective. Empathy, because I need to know what happens in the environment with my colleagues. It's important to know what happens in the situation to solve this. Well-being under stress and confinement, because stress is something I cannot stop, it's coming. And sometimes it's a stress because you are workload, and sometimes it's the stress because you are bored out, and sometimes the stress is because emotional stress, or sometimes it's the stress because it's a lot of work. Hierarchy and autonomy in communication. I'm thinking about the commander, about if you need to know for yourself which type of attachment you need with your commander, and try to adapt yourself, to adjust, no? And then also the group dynamic. And that everyone was in a habitat at the beginning. The first days is, wow, everything is nice. But the third, fourth day, you realize, okay, I'm not agree with this. I don't like this, but I need to cope with, because we need to be engaged to each other. And psychological adaptation is also something is important. How I need to learn, to work with my resources, and the resources are coming unconsciously. This is when you are aware, you try, everyone is in control. We don't need to control. And the point when you are in control means that you will solve the things very spontaneously when the situation is coming, not before. But our brain, we are talking about cognitive functions. The executive functions are in our memory. Our brain can realize what will happen, but at the end, we need to do something. And I think when we are aware about these things, and we can have a lot of success. Conscious and subconscious brain. This is what I was explaining you. The conscious is I'm here, I'm aware, and the subconscious brain is I know about the situation. For this reason, it's very difficult for us to have the imagination what happens in Mars when we are living in Mars, because our brain is not aware, but had a little idea what happens. Then in this consciousness, how well do you know yourself? Are you conscious of who are you and the impact that you are having on other people? Because maybe I'm spontaneous, or maybe I'm talking with the hands and everybody is feeling, threat somehow. This is not about controlling people, it's about communication, and to adjust yourself. How do we interact with other people? What people know when I'm talking, how is aggressive, not aggressive, is not control yourself, but to learn, in the crew, to be open and to create a safe environment. Conscious awareness, what if you know yourself, again, it's the same. I repeat the same, because for many people is to be in control. And the question is not, we are in control. We need to know myself. I will know exactly what are my values, what are my priorities, and I will be with my self-esteem pretty clear, because I will have time to see or to realize what do you need and what I need. And then we need to find a middle point, and we need to negotiate. We are also the connection, of course, when we are talking about space and psychology, and the psychology is human factors, human behavior, and the neuropsychology. It's our brain. Human behavior is very important, because when you know yourself, you know which type of person you are, task-oriented or problem-oriented, and also in the sense, how is your reaction, how you deal with your mood, what is the first mood is coming, and you need to be aware that you need to shift the emotions to realize to go for stable. Not that you need to be stable, but of course you are stable when you are selected. No, but the stability is not a perfection. Stability is that you can manage the situation and go forward and go over it. And I think it's important that everyone has a different behavior, but at the end, everyone need to be prepared and need to be open to learn and need to be cooperative and collaborative. And I think this is important for everyone. Of course, we are high-performance teams. the task, no, ours again, science, technology, engineer, mathematics, and also psychology, in the sense that we need to understand that we are not there to be in holidays, probably some people, but the point for us, you have a task, you need to do something, someone is paying for you, and the expectations are very high, and also you are learning a lot of things, and this is wonderful for our brain. But also in the high performance teams, the teams has to collaborate and to be clear what are the priorities and what will have their developed skills. And I think this is something that not many people are prepared. Many people are going there with expectations, but then you need to understand that expectation is that you will find many ways to cope with your mood, many ways to cope with difficulties. And also you need to understand that for many people, the reaction in your body is not like everyone. Probably for me, radiation is affecting my body in a way. Probably for the other one, the impact, to go from Earth to the atmosphere is affecting in your hormone. For other one is many things, or the water, drinks, and everything, how your knees and everything will be affect your mood, and we need to be aware about this. I hope I did a STEM review, what is about psychology and the adaptation, the adjustment. And I think the most important for everyone is we need to understand in psychology what happens with our brain and what happens with our mind. And also brain is about biology, it's all the hormones and all the for example, the microgravity, the blood pressure, everything is sleep disorders, or the way we are, our functions, cognitive functions are affected. And otherwise is the mind, the way we are thinking, fears, all we are taking probably things personal or not, or we are scared or not, something like this, we need to deal with. Finito. I'm open for questions.
Okay. Yes, everybody welcome to present some questions. Yeah, I have a comment, some comments, Celia.
Yes.
Something that I was thinking about your presentation that is very important, the protocols to order the activities that happens during space missions, because if you have other protocols, this will bring more confidence, for about what to do, because one of the problems related to the psychology experience would be the anxiety. Also, during the pandemics, I saw a presentation of the Scott Kelly. Scott Kelly did some presentations about we are remotely working during the pandemics, and he was talking about also Susan Jail. She coordinated this activity, and he was commenting that it's very important, has a well-planned tasks about to do, because when you don't have a well done planning, the participants would be with anxious about what to do, no? And in this case, something very important is the planning, and also the planning and the protocols, how they are designed, what will be done in a mission, in a space mission, not only analog missions, but a real space missions. In this case, I consider the protocols very important about to present a good psychology experience. What do you think about?
Yeah. I thank you for the question. I think one thing is we are talking about adjustment that we are not conscious, also the adjustment in the sense what happens with our brain and our body when we are in a different environment and in an environment that we don't know. This is no, my presentation was about this, what happens in the adjustment. But when you say this is the daily adjustment, and yes, of course, when you have a protocol, I think it's so important also in aviation and also in this is the rules and the discipline, not in the sense of military, it's the sense you know what to do. No, you have a protocol in the sense you don't feel lost because I don't know what to do now. But also for the team, no, for this reason I was showing these high performance teams. Everyone has a task, and I know more or less where I am. I don't feel alone. But the point is, this is something what happens in every habitat, and is the thing that people are complaining. But also this is a point of adjustment. And I think when people are also prepared that everything will be different, is nothing related what I know exactly, more or less. This is a wonderful training that we need to understand that maybe is nothing that I know, but I need to be open to adjust myself to the new style. And for many people, what you say is very important to have the point 1, 2, the schedule for everyone, I think, when you are in a different environment. But also, I think everyone needs to understand that if I'm reacting in a different, I'm not knowing myself now, although I have the rules and everything is also okay, means I need more time to adjust myself to the new situation. But I think, yes, I'm totally agree with you, and everyone needs to know what to do. Yes. But if you are not reacting properly, independent, you need to be aware that you need to understand that you are adjusting very slowly to the situation, or it's for you too difficult to adjust to the new situation. And you are also surprised that something is happening with your body. I mean, in the sense of anxiety, if anxiety is coming, I feel my breast, I feel pressure in my breast, or I cannot breathe, or I'm crying, or something like this. I need to know what happens, that something happens with me, and probably it's nothing about the situation now, it's something that I'm scared about. And I think it's important that everybody can also talk about it. Answer your question? I cannot hear you.
Yeah, it was close.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Something that I'd like to comment in this case, protocols and planning are important to avoid stress and anxiety in a space experience. Also, you can see a lot of protocols also in aerospace too, like in the flight, since we see it to flight, we see a lot of protocols operating, during a flight. But I'd like to listen your comments about a situation not expected, like someone with a very
Emergency.
in an emergency, a psychological emergency. What to do? What do you think? Do you saw one of the circumstances like this, or what can be done in a situation of a great stress, of a great anxiety of one participant during a space mission? What would be done?
The first is the person is depending. If it's an AVA, you need to board the AVA. Everybody needs to go in the habitat and look what happens with this person. If this person is having a crisis in the moment, this person needs to express, to say to the group, because it's a teamwork. And when one not is functioning, is disrupting not the task. And I think when you have time for this person, you need to talk about this. Other person can talk about this to the psychologist, or look what happens. what was the trigger. And sometimes the trigger is, you know, more about our thoughts, or I don't feel it well because the food is not, no, I eat something that I reject in my body and I'm vomiting, or I'm so scared that I don't want to bother the group, or I want to do something that the group is not, no, it's more about thoughts. And you need to understand, you need to put the person apart, and then the person needs to learn to breathe. Also realize what happens, not to be sincere or clear and to express. They need a part or place that they feel safe to talk about it. But also if you are in a task outside, you need to abort the operation and go back to the habitat.
Yeah, I was imagining situations more related to the group dynamics between.
Okay.
Sometimes I stress between also doing the intravehicular activity when we are sometimes not going well, and the people become stressed with each other. What can be done?
You need to do conflict management, no? And I think the group need to sit down, or if the person is telling you, no, I need a referent, one person, I need to talk to one person, and then to put in the group. I think it's very important that you are doing a group team building, and also explain what it's about. And I think it's important to support the person and also the group dynamic. We have these things, no? And sometimes, and normally the person can call me and I can talk to this person, and then when the person is prepared to talk to the group, and sometimes it's more about my thoughts, no? What I'm so afraid about the consequences, and then I prefer don't say anything because I don't want to be or the middle of the group, or I'm scared that the people will be nasty to me or something like this. But the first we are doing is, does the person talk to one person, no, psychologist or someone, referent or the commander, and the commander then decide how to deal with the situation. One of the I propose normally is a little bit about emotional intelligence, that people go from this high emotion, come down to the point that the person can talk about it or rationalize what happens with me, and then talk to the group. And then also the group can also talk, no? And the point that everybody is talking about, it could be positive, is a safe environment.
Yes, I believe it's a good way. Maybe has maybe a point of contact, someone of the group, but also maybe someone outside of the group, maybe from the mission control, someone that would present this support, right, to the participants presenting this situation. Yeah, because sometimes would be happening situations like creating the group, like not only one person involved, but maybe 3 or 4, maybe a complete mess, maybe. But,
yes, I know exactly. But one of the things I'm supporting, and everybody is telling about the question is to laugh about the situation. Laughing is so important. That no, if the person is the commander or the mission control, catch what happens now, and then we can change. No, I think it's very important in the group to change the attitude, and this has to be is an ode to. When something happens, we need to change the attitude to see the things in a different perspective. And I think this is also a good point, that the commander or something, authority for the person or something like this is telling, okay, see now the things in a different perspective, and try to laugh. I think when the group is laughing, everybody's happy, more or less. But sometimes it's like this, it's the group dynamics. There's some people need an enemy that they are going together. But this is not about the situation, because we are in a different environment. I think you need to make people aware that we are a different environment. We are not on Earth and we are not in holidays. Everybody has to change the attitude to work together. Everybody has to reach the possibility to communicate, because the goal is to have this performance, and then maybe before the mission, to make everyone conscious that we need to solve the situations, because we need to solve the tasks. We are Lösung now in German, problem solving. And I think this is important also, that people is aware about this change of emotions in the high level. Reduce the emotion in the sense, okay, I'm angry, I tell you I'm angry to you, but what is the solution? Find a solution.
Yes, one of the topics that we discussed today in the opening of the Space Habitat event, we are talking about music, a pleasant topic. And for me, the music, the right music is very important in terms of contribute to a frequency of consciousness. And for me, I believe music can be a good way to present a good mood during a mission. But I'd like to listen your comments about what are the other possibilities in terms to contribute to present a relaxing atmosphere during a space mission. What do you think? What would be, instead of music, what would be other initiatives that the people becomes relaxed and presents joy during the mission?
I think one of the situations could be mindfulness, that people stay a couple of minutes with themselves and go down from the day, the stress and everything, and also to maybe play cards or something that the group has to be together. Sometimes could be a good situation, because with music we have somebody, for example, in high seas, one of the colleagues was putting music, and for me it was wonderful music, but maybe for the young people was not a nice music. And I think doesn't matter, the question is to be agreed with the group, but also relaxing meditation, mindfulness, or do something together. It's when you are cooking together that everyone stops and do something together, could be also a part of relaxing, that people is going, now is free time for us, and maybe we can have joy or talk about things that I like it. I don't know, cultural things, or about the communication in the group, very like a group dynamic in the therapy, but not about my problems. It's about something that I like or I can share with a group. Could be also a part of go down, slow down. If not, painting or activities. If I like to do something with my hands, or I think could be very relaxing, that people is occupy and not preoccupy.
Yes, very, very interesting. Something that we just saw in Habitat Marte, Space Analog missions, that would affect the psychology experience is sometimes we are not sleeping enough. For example, sometimes we are sleeping like midnight or 1 a.m. in waking up 5 or 6, sometimes sleeping 6 hours or 6 hours, and depending of the exhaustive activities based in EVAs, these 5 hours of sleeping or 4 hours is not enough to recover the health. The consequence is we are presenting very frequently a weaker attention about what you're doing, and these are sometimes losing words to be used during the talk, during the conversation. Sometimes not be very having a great attention to some activities, sometimes doing mistakes. We just saw this, and this interesting thing about all risky situation brings new ideas about new protocols that would be developed to avoid these risky situations, and this is one of situation like I would like to share with you and with the group in this recording. And we are trying to avoid this, but sometimes we are doing many activities and having demanding more time to do many operations. And I'd like to listen your thoughts about.
I think this is the point. Also, the neurocognitive, all experiments we are doing, we are analyzing what happens in the neurocognitive or the neuropsychology, or the sense what happens in our brain about these conditions when you are sleeping less, or what happens is your performance is affected, the cognitive is affected. And then this is something I was trying to explain today. The adjustment is to be aware that something will be happen, but then you need to be clear with yourself. One of the techniques is this emotional intelligence, the sense that you are aware about your emotion or situation. And also in your train, what you say is so important, that when you are trained to do things and you have a protocol or you have a routine, it's important that your brain doesn't need so much energy in the moment for something that is a rule. This is no. But if you need to be precise, you need to be aware yourself. I'm so tired, I need this. But your motivation, is your attitude will help you to do the task in this situation. But if you are not allowed yourself, because I think, no, I'm not, today is not my day, I need to express and give the responsibility to other people. But the point for the astronauts, they are training this position is I will be focused on the task, and I try to ignore more or less about my body, because I need to function. But then I need to be clear with myself that I will need a rest, or I will need something later. I need to adjust what happens with me, because I need to listen to my body. Or when I'm angry, I'm really angry, means maybe I'm very tired. And then I told you in the different slides, you need to know how's your personality also, and where are your limits, where are your borders, and how to cope with your weakness. And I think this is the point that will help you with a group and yourself to have a balance, work-life balance. And this is something that astronauts are trained in the NASA or the ESA. That when you cannot do anything more, you need to motivate yourself, say, no, I need to do the task, I change the attitude, but then I need to have a space for me to recover.
Yes. Also, we are here with Paul. Hello, Paul. How are you?
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I got very, very late. I have to adjust, as Cecilia said, between work, life, and shopping balance. So I only now got home. I was not from the beginning, but I read a few things about psychology. It is very interesting from a few words that I just heard now. What will happen in space and on Mars is not different from what we're experiencing at work. It's a very, very challenging situation where you work in an environment when you are considered a zero. No matter what you do, no matter what your inputs are, no matter how you stride, no matter how you see that the things that you do are improving everybody else's comfort at work, and you are nothing, because only the bosses decide, sometimes totally disconnected from the reality. And not only me, but many of my colleagues in my department, I don't know other departments, when we go to work, we better prefer to go home. So it's what you might call a toxic environment. In space, as I said, you cannot allow yourself to have a bad day. How to motivate yourself? Confinement is a very, very challenging situation. This is probably why, from the beginning of the humanity, one of the worst punishment was to put someone in prison. You see the same walls, you see the same people, you see, and it's driving you crazy. Instead of being a corrective measure, it's just driving you crazy. So I think one way or another, in different situations, is the same pattern. On a flight of half a year to Mars, probably the new nuclear engines a little bit less, it's still very challenging because you see the same faces, you see the same walls, and the worst negative conditioning is that you have nowhere to go. So you just want to get faster to your destination, but you cannot do anything about it. So I don't know. I try. Sometimes when I'm attending these meetings, except for Habitat March, as Julian said and others, sometimes in a few moments of quietness, I try to imagine myself being there, mentally there, and how I would react. And even if I know I'm dreaming or I'm imagining and I'm aware of myself, as you said, it's still very challenging, very difficult.
Yes, but I like your intervention, because this is what I was trying to explain at the beginning. No, the point is, we are talking about now different and more the daily life, but yes, this is the point, that our brain is not allowed now to understand how to cope with these situations in a different environment, because we're like this. We have a toxic boss, no, I helpless because I cannot do anything. I'm in a box the whole day probably, and I have music or not music because I don't know if the music is working or it's not working. No, the imagination we are talking about is from Earth and our brain experience. And then what I try to tell him with my presentation today is, we need to understand first that the brain is not prepared. We need to prepare the brain slowly. And then for this is the habitats, but then the environment, and then how to cope with. If you are selected to go to Mars, means that your personality and the crew personality is more or less the same. So it's the same in the sense you cannot be a very nasty boss. You need to understand that everybody has to be a little cooperative. No one will be perfect, but you need to create a safety environment. If not, you are going to commit suicide, because you cannot be the whole time. But what Julio say, the conflicts, this is daily life you have with your family, with your, not everyone, but the point that you have resources in yourself will help you if you feel in a safe environment to cope with these things in a healthy way. If not, it means that we'll develop sickness in your body, cancer, asthma, I don't know. And this is the point that this is the reality in the psychology. For this reason, it's very important that the trainings in the psychology are clear, and the selection of the people has to be not perfect people, but people they are prepared to cope with, to deal with adversity in the psychological way, and also resilience. I think the focus is the resilience and the attitude. If you can laugh about it, you will have a wonderful, mission.
In a way, you're saying what I read sometimes, that in nature, not the best educated or best skilled or the best, I don't know, scientist survives, but the one who can adapt. So I don't know. Probably, I don't want to drag you into politics, but you know what happens right now in our area. So psychologically, we might be the best trained and resilient to go to Mars. Maybe that will solve the problem in the Middle East,
I think everybody's going to Mars. Yes, yes. Yeah, crazy. Yes, it's a contradiction. You are totally right. Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Thanks so much for the contribution. I learned a lot today, also with Celia, because psychology is, I believe, one of the alicerces, one of the ground topics in terms of space exploration. Because I remember in Netflix there is a series called Mars. One of the episodes is showing the gardener, the botanist in the series. He's very upset because he's not is having a problem of energy in the station, in not providing enough energy to keep the plants, the greenhouse of operating in the plate in the plants, or in the greenhouse are the life of this botanist. And he when he sees the plants dying because not having enough heat to the operation of the greenhouse, he starts to become disturbed. And in certain moment, when the plants are dying, almost completing plants dying, he opens the door of the greenhouse and great part of the station collapse, and he died in this moment. In this case, I bring this episode, this situation, because if an astronaut or an astronaut not well psychology balanced, this would be can bring risks for a space mission. Yes, and this for example, bringing self-sabotage, but not only self-sabotage, because sometimes self-sabotage he or she is prejudicing only himself or herself. But sometimes bringing a sabotage in a high scale also bring risks to other participants during the mission. And because of this, I consider space psychology a very strategic topic for space exploration.
There are wonderful books from Nick Canas. This is a psychiatrist was in the NASA many years, and he's playing about this because we are talking about that everything is okay, but you don't know also what is the impact when you change the environment, no? From atmosphere, not atmosphere, is also can affect in our brain physically. And then also it could be what you say, the confinement at the end could be if I have a mental health somehow in my body is exploding, no? Is at some point is this routine and this situation I can develop if I have in my body a schizophrenia or something like this that I didn't know. And could be there are many things. We are humans, and I think it's allowed to be human, but we need to understand that when something happens, your colleagues are also there for you. And then if you are really crazy, to accept this, and then you need to come back. But also, it's not about crazy, it's about what you say. No, it's just, I don't know if it's the same day, the same place, the same thing, how it's affecting, and then the mood is going up and down and everything. And yeah, we need support, of course.
Yes. Okay, we are concluding our panel. Yes, I believe it's okay. It's good discussion and good, very good. We had registered this discussion in a great presentation of Celia and contribution for space exploration. Yes, I let you Celia present less words to conclude the record. Thanks so much.
See you tomorrow.
Sorry.
I don't know. I think there is a meeting tomorrow too, several days in a row. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not remembering about. Yeah.
Space Habitat event, November 8th to 11th.
Yeah,
So we have-
9 tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, we have more presentations to happening.
Okay.
Paul, I will send in private to you, okay, with the schedule.
I think it's this one, I guess.
Okay.
Yes. Is the last one? We have another one?
Okay.
Or is the last one?
The
So-
next presentation will be today, in 2 hours. Will be
Okay.
Bernard Foyk presentation.
Okay.
We
Okay.
have a break
Oh,
like
okay.
2
Okay.
hours. And next presentation today is Bernard. I believe after
Wonderful.
Bernard we have one presentation in Portuguese, but during 10 p.m. GMT, but will be in Portuguese. This presentation 10 p.m.
No
GMT.
problem for the Spanish people. I hope. No.
Yes.
Well, for the Romanian speaking people, there is a problem.
Yes.
Anyway, just please send me the schedule with the English presentations, and I'll try to, as I said, adapt myself psychologically. Okay.
And then I say bye-bye. I leave you. And I
Bye.
would like to come to Brazil to the habitat.
Yeah.
And then see you tomorrow
Yeah.
or
Okay,
later
so-
with Bernard. Bye-bye.
Okay. So
Bye-bye.
Julio, you
Pleasure.
send me in private the schedule for the next for the continuous.
Yeah, I will send to you in some in next minutes. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I stopped the recording.